Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have two questions, both of them for General Simonite, and both of them kind of on two unrelated subjects that he is very familiar with. The first one, I have to explain to people sometimes that we are navigable in Oklahoma. They talk about they don't realize that I can remember taking a World War II submarine all the way up from Orange, Texas to Muskogee, Oklahoma, and that still didn't get the register to most people of what our capacity is there. Well, we have a 9-foot channel that we've had for a long period of time. I'm particularly interested in this because my father-in-law had a lot to do it with then Governor Kerr. And I used to consider it may be a boondoggle, but it was our boondoggle, and it worked. And but anyway, we have the 9-foot channel. But if we were, as you know, we've been trying for a long period of time to get that into a 12-foot channel. Now we're at 90% of all the way from the Gulf to Oklahoma, 90% a 12-foot channel. But it's that other 10% that's the problem. And I think to do that, you could increase the capacity by about 50%. Just to get the other 10% of the whole waterway done. And so I'd like to see if you had anything that you could say briefly, because I want to have time for my second question. And if not, do it for the record. But what can we do in Congress? What can we do in concert with state government and all the other forces who are trying to line up on this to accomplish this 12-foot channel?
So, Senator, we think very highly of that particular channel. We would strongly endorse it. As you know, it was not in the 20 budget, so it did not get any funding. It needs two things. It needs, obviously, some funds, but it also needs a new start. The biggest thing the committee gives us is when we get the additional money above the president's budget, you give us work plan money. We have more flexibility in work plan money than we actually do in the president's budget. So this, I think, would continue to compete well, but we would have to get both the funds and the new start to be able to see that through. But you're right. This is a great capability.
I think together we can do that.
Yes, sir.
I think we can. Now, let me say something about General Simonite that most of you don't know. This guy is a real tiger. When you're talking about some of your employees, some of your staff, and what your expectations are, they should see you in action. This guy, we had a flood. We have a levee that's called the Sand Springs Tulsa Levee. It was built back in the 40s. And we had a really big-time flood just last year. I mean, it was devastating. I remember going up into our dams and seeing it come within 2 feet of my feet down there. And the levee was starting to break, but it did hold up. Now, this guy, General Simonite, I walked in and I saw him stacking sandbags on the levee. And I thought, this guy literally has his finger in the dike on this thing. And so I just want to tell you what a great job you did there. But we also want to do something about that feasibility study. And you've heard me talk about this for a long time. Originally, it was going to be 3 years. We've had it knocked down to 2 years. Now, my feeling is, I know that you probably are scheduled to leave around April. I would like to have a big celebration with you and sign that report prior to that time that you leave. Now, the question I would have is, if the chief's report was completed this year, you could include it in your budget for fiscal year 2021. That is correct, isn't it?
It is, Senator, and I owe all of you, I think right now on my list of chief's reports, I've got about 25 more that I'm planning on signing before I leave, and that's one of them. So we're pushing hard. I told my guys, don't give me 500 pages. If 200 is good enough, let's get them done.
Now, where does that rank with the other 24?
They're all very, very important, sir.
Yeah, that's what I did. Thank you for your great work. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.